The Galactic Military Academy stood as a monument to interspecies cooperation, its crystalline towers reaching toward the violet sky of Zentara Prime. For 3 centuries, warriors from across the galaxy had trained within its walls, learning the arts of combat, strategy, and diplomacy. But in all that time, no one had quite prepared for the arrival of humanity. Kylie Morrison stood at Attention Information Hall, her posture perfect despite the aching muscles that screamed for rest. The past 6 weeks of training had been brutal, designed to break cadets from species far stronger and more resilient than humans. Around her, towering Crethians with their forearms and armored exoskeletons barely broke a sweat. The serpentine Vashiri coiled and uncoiled with practiced ease. Even the diminutive Pixans, no taller than a human child, seemed to handle the regimen with their enhanced stamina. But Kylie refused to quit. Instructor Zarthak paced before the assembled cadets, his massive Crethian frame casting shadows across the polished floor. His reputation preceded him, a decorated war hero who had never failed to break the spirit of cadets he deemed unworthy. His eyes scanned the formation with unconcealed disdain, lingering on the handful of human cadets scattered among the ranks. Pathetic, he rumbled, his translator device rendering his clicks and growls into standard galactic. Another day, another disappointing display from our newest members. Kylie kept her eyes forward, but she could feel his attention settling on her like a physical weight. She'd known this was coming. For weeks, Zarthak had made it his personal mission to single out the human cadets, pushing them harder, demanding more, waiting for them to break. Cadet Morrison. Zarthak's voice boomed across the hall. Step forward. Kylie moved with crisp precision, stopping 3 paces in front of the massive instructor. Even standing at her full height of 5'9", she barely reached his lower chest plates. His eyes regarded her with something between curiosity and contempt. Tell me, human, he said, circling her slowly. Why are you here? Your species is soft, weak. You lack natural armor, your bones break easily, and your stamina is laughable compared to real warriors. What makes you think you belong in this academy? Sir, I'm here to serve, sir, Kylie replied, her voice steady despite the humiliation burning in her chest. To serve? Zarthak's mandibles clicked in what might have been laughter. You can barely complete the basic requirements. Yesterday, you failed the endurance run. The day before, you couldn't maintain the defensive stance for the required duration. You are holding back your entire unit with your inadequacy. The words stung because they held a grain of truth. Humans were newcomers to the galactic community, and their physical capabilities paled in comparison to most other species. But Kylie had learned something during her 23 years on Earth, growing up in the ruins of post-war Detroit. Fighting for every opportunity, humans didn't win by being stronger. They won by being tougher. Permission to speak freely, sir, Kylie said. Zarthak's eyes narrowed. Denied. I didn't ask for your thoughts, cadet. I asked. Before he could finish, one of his massive hands lashed out, striking Kylie across the face with a force that would have sent most beings sprawling. It was a test of brutal tradition among Crethian warriors to gauge courage and resilience. Cadets were expected to take the blow, maintain their composure, and continue standing. The slap connected with a sharp crack that echoed through the silent hall. Kylie's head snapped to the side, and for a moment, the world tilted. Pain exploded across her cheek, and she tasted blood. Every instinct screamed at her to stumble, to fall, to give in to the shock of the blow. But underneath that pain, something else ignited, something primal and fierce that humanity had carried through millennia of survival against impossible odds. The old Kylie, the one who had grown up fighting neighborhood bullies twice her size, who had earned her black belt by the time she was 16, who had never backed down from any challenge that Kylie took control in one fluid motion. Before Zarthak could even register what was happening, Kylie pivoted on her back foot, dropped low, and swept his legs with a precision that would have made her old sensei proud. The massive Crethian, caught completely off guard, felt his balance shift. Kylie's movement combined perfect timing with an understanding of physics and leverage that her species had honed through countless martial arts disciplines. Zar. Talk crashed to the ground with a thunderous impact that shook the floor panels, the formation. Hall fell into absolute silence. Kylie was already back at attention. Blood trickling from her split lip, her stance perfect despite the throbbing in her face. She stared straight ahead, not at the fallen instructor, not at her shocked fellow cadets, but at some point in the middle distance where her pride and her military discipline met in perfect balance. Zarthuk lay on the ground for 3 full seconds, an eternity in combat time before his forearms pushed him upright. His eyes blazed with an emotion that Kylie couldn't quite identify. Rage, respect, perhaps both. "You dare," he began, rising to his full imposing height. "Sir, you struck first, sir." Kylie interrupted, her voice level. "In my species' combat traditions, an unprovoked attack is an invitation to demonstrate capability. I merely responded as any warrior would." "Sir." The other instructors had moved forward, ready to intervene, but Zarthuk raised one hand, stopping them. He approached Kylie slowly, and she could see something shifting in his expression. The contempt was still there, but it was now mixed with something that looked almost like amusement. "Demonstrate capability," Zarthuk repeated slowly. Then, to everyone's shock, his mandibles spread in what passed for a Crethean smile. "Indeed." He turned to address the entire formation, his voice carrying across the hall. "Let this be a lesson to all of you. Strength is not merely about size or natural weapons. This human cadet this week just taught me something I should have remembered. From my own wars." He looked back at Kylie. "Never underestimate an opponent, especially one who has nothing to prove. Accept everything." Kylie remained at attention, her face swelling, her heart pounding, but her spirit absolutely unbroken. "Dismissed, Cadet Morrison," Zarthuk said quietly, almost respectfully. "And report to medical. That's going to bruise spectacularly." As Kylie marched back to formation, she caught the eye of William Chen, another human cadet who stood a few rows back. His barely suppressed grin told her everything she needed to know. Word of this would spread through the academy like wildfire. The humans had arrived, and they were here to stay.